Excuse me. Welcome into the High Noon Rant. Hold on, get the camera's not right. There we go. Get a little bit more light on me. Hi, folks. Pugs Moran. We do this every Monday through Friday. Been doing it for 2.5 years now. Yeah, we've been. It's a hearty little experiment we've been doing here. High Noon Rant. What is it? Well, it's me giving you every day at 12 p.m. a full-on. Nobody's in the chat room either because nobody expects me to be this early. That's the other thing. Like, we do. Taranda's here. Of course, Taranda's here. Completely appreciate her presence. All right. Well, as the other people see, typically the show won't start. Like, I don't even hit the opening graphics until like 5 minutes after. So I'm going a little bit early today. You can't be blamed if you've been conditioned to expect a 12:05 or 12:06 start. So what we do is on this show for about 2 hours, I perform a stream of consciousness rant on everything that's happening in the world. That's right. My goal is to have you at the end of this rant completely caught up. I don't want people going, hey, did you hear about? And then you got to listen to them. Ugh, there's no fun in that. So what do? I wake up early. And by the way, I woke up super early today. We'll get to more on that in a second here. But I wake up early and I go through all the newspapers. I watch all the shows. I look for all the trends and the things that people are buzzing about wherever that might be. And I compile it for you. And then at noon, for about 2 hours, I sit here and I regurgitate it. No breaks, no commercials, no music, no traffic, no bathroom potty breaks, nothing like that. And we call it the High Noon Rant. This show, as I said, has been going on now for 2.5 years. We are in year 3 of the High Noon Rant here on the Radio Misfits podcast and live streaming platform. And the show runs because of your generosity. That's right, tips. This show runs on your tips. This is what I do. So if you want to drop a little something, we'd appreciate it. Now, every day, the person who tips the best, and we don't get tips every day, but we need them because it's that time of year. The person who tips the most the day before becomes that day's executive producer. So let's welcome Keith Babar. Keith Babar is today's executive producer. I don't see Keith in the chat room. Let me see. Oh, I got him here. I'm sorry. Let me put the chat up. Sorry, boys. There you go. That was the problem. I didn't have the chat room up. Adam's here. So good to see my boy. So good to see Peter and Cam. Byron. What up, Byron? Yeah, I know. On time today. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. I was distracted. What was I distracted by? It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, Keith Babar is our executive producer today. I'm going to leave that up. I can't believe he's not here. He's not in the chat room. I expected him to be in the chat room. Thank you for the tip, Keith Babar. Keith, that's an inside joke. That's why I can't believe he's not here. His name isn't Keith Babar. His name is Kevin Barber. And he appears in the chat room as KB Artist. He's one of my oldest friends. It's like, we were running around liking girls together back in the day. So the story behind Keith Babar, when he shows up, call him Keith. Should you ever just call him Keith? I used to ride to school with him and home every day. We were like best buddies. So I was sitting in his like passenger seat and I don't know, we'd done something. There was like a long line of cars waiting to exit the school after school, right? All the kids who drive have to get in a line and then one by one, they're allowed to make a right turn out of the school. So we were in this line and it was going really slow. And I don't know what happened, but the dean of the school, Dean Yans, he comes running up to the window, starts banging on it. And we're all pretending like we don't see him because school is over, man. Hey, man. You know what I mean? It was like that. And so he's like, hey, because we had done something in the car. I didn't know what we did. Maybe Kevin was moving up too quickly or whatever. I don't know what it was, but we did something. And he's banging on the door and nobody's answering. And then finally he goes, I know you. You're Keith Babar. And we all started laughing. We're like, yeah, that's him. Write that name down. Keith Babar. And then we pulled out and we laughed. So there's the inside joke on today's executive producer. He's not in the chat room now, but he'll hear it later. What else? Oh yeah. Here. So let me put this up because, like I said, I don't expect people to tip at Christmas because you got to take care of your own families. And we didn't do particularly well last year, but I'm still going to push because, just because it's Christmas Still got to, support this show. So we'll put this up today. Now, as to why it feels like late afternoon to me, because I forced myself to wake up at 6 a.m. today. Yeah, because I'm going to have to wake up at 4:30 a.m. tomorrow. Which isn't hard once you start doing it. This is because we'll be doing the morning show on The Freak, 97.1 The Freak, and by we, I'll explain that in a minute. Now, it's going to be the RadioMisfits.com with Pugs and Sybil with Lacey. Got to figure out how, because Lacey's kind of the glue that keeps the whole thing together, but Sybil and I are going to be doing a little two-man kind of morning show where we're catching up. And, hey, look, hey, I couldn't be happier to have Sybil and couldn't be happier to have Lacey. I'm surrounding myself. I'm basically making it so I can't fail, so that I can't look bad. I am surrounding myself with two of the most talented and competent women that I know. So I'm very excited about that. So we're going to be doing mornings on Wednesday. That's tomorrow morning on 97.1 The Freak. If you're out of market, you can check that out on the iHeart app. If you got the iHeart app, I know that The Freak is on there. You're just looking for 97.1 The Freak in Dallas. And yeah, my allergies are really bad. So, hey, good thing I'm waking up extra early tomorrow. I'm going to try and talk. By the way, these shows, the morning shows are not going to affect the afternoon shows. We're not getting paid for the morning shows. And, tips are what I live on. So I'll be doing double duty. We will be doing high noon shows as well after the morning shows. It's going to be me and Sybil and Lacey on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I'm losing Sybil. Sybil's going. So we're going to talk all about this. Sybil's going to Northern Michigan for a week after Christmas. And oh my God, she is not. If ever a girl wasn't built from Northern Michigan, Traverse City is where she's going. So we're gonna have some fun with that. So, but we're losing Sybil next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it's going to be just me and Lacey, and maybe we'll roll in some other people. Now, a lot of people have been asking, well, what about Kelly? What about Kelly? Well, what about Kelly? I would love nothing more, but Kelly is not here in town. I inquired. Just so that nothing gets twisted, I inquired. I said, well, hey, we could do a Pugs and Kelly reunion. And then they're like, okay, that'd be great. And I'm like, well, she's in Corpus. And they're like, well, we don't have time to get that all wired up. So there's that. And so this is not a slight. I would hate for anyone to be like, oh, Pugs doing a show with Sybil instead of Kelly. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's just life goes on. These are opportunities. It was presented, and she was the one that they wanted. And, they wanted me with her. So I'm very happy about that. I mean, I don't say she's the one they wanted, but you know what I mean? I didn't mean it like that. The idea was they put me with her. So we're very excited. So I woke up this morning. All right. I lied. I woke up this morning at the alarm was set for 5. Okay. But I ignored the alarm. Not a good sign, by the way, not a good start. But I was awake and I made the conscious decision to ignore the alarm. What I did was I woke up and I got up and I went, okay, it's 5 a.m. It's still dark outside. I am wide awake. And then I was like, nothing else for me to do. And so I said to myself, I'll just stay awake for 5 minutes. If I can stay awake for 5 minutes and do something. So I came and I sat here in the studio and I didn't make coffee because I didn't want, and then I went back to sleep for another hour. But it's a work in progress, trying to get myself, acclimated. Typically I wake up at around 8:15 every morning. So 4:30 in the morning, which is around the time I'm probably going to have to try and wake up. It's going to be a difficult thing, but that's what mornings are. So again, we'll be doing mornings on The Freak Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. And then next week we will be doing it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So what a wonderful opportunity. You know how much I love those guys over there. Just to be, a dude on the bench going, I could come in if he's limping, just to be considered for that over there with that format. What they're doing there is pretty great because, as I say, that's the only format in the country that I know of that does the kind of talk radio that I want to do. So, it's convenient that I'm here and all that good stuff. So we're looking forward to that. I hope you all can join us. Now, another programming note. About the Radio Misfit show that airs at 9 p.m. Those we're putting that show in dry dock for a little bit, not permanently. Now we'll see how this shakes out, but there are some things going on personally with the show there. Not God, so cryptic. James has family stuff that he's dealing with, and so we're just going to let him deal with that. And when he comes back, wants to discuss it, But there's real life stuff going on. So please don't ask too many questions, and just understand that we love doing that 9 o'clock Radio Misfits show. But we're going to put it on dry dock for a little bit, while James takes care of what is certainly needed. He's needed for at the moment. All right. So, and also really big news across the board coming in the new year. So stuff we can't talk about now, but certainly stuff that we're going to get into. All right. It's going to be a good 2024. Appreciate you guys. It'll be really nice if we can get this 2024 back to where it was when we were in the mansplaining days. We can drop this stupid support the show nonsense, and we can just freeball it. We can just, that's what I like to do. And as soon as I'm able to do that, I hope you know that I push it back. So thank you to anybody that supports the show today, and Merry Christmas. All right, let's get into the high noon rant. Wait, is there anything else? We did all the house cleaning. We did the promoting of what we're doing on the Freak. We did the Radio Misfits is going to be on dry dock, and we did the gonna continue doing high noon shows throughout, right? So high noon shows, no change here. We're going to be here every day at noon. Mornings for the next week and a half, and no Radio Misfits for that time period. So, but that doesn't mean I won't be just jumping on. And that doesn't mean that, out of nowhere, James might go, hey, let's do a show, and we'll do a show. But we're gonna take a little time off here. Take care of some things. All right, let's get started with the show. Let me see who's in here. Hi, April. April says, I have an awful sinus headache. Really hope it's nothing more than that. So do I, April. Do you hear this voice? Do you hear? The voice is always a little bit weird, but man, it's killing me. Barney's in the room. Hi, Barney. Barney says, I guess I'll just have to go to bed early and wake up rest then. Appreciate the effort. The effort from y'all is just unbelievable. All right. We got Chuck here. Hi, Chuck. Chuck is saying hi. Who else? I saw a bunch of people that I didn't say hi to. Where's my, did I say hi to Jen Hernandez? Hi, Jen. Didn't say hi to Jen. Got me some Peter. Peter received your email. Appreciate it. Peter's doing some behind the scenes stuff. All right. Everybody's here. Jeff's here. Cam's here. All right. Very good. All right. Let's get started. Let's start the show. Let's get y'all informed on everything you need to know. It is the High Noon Rant. I am Pugs Moran. It is the 19th day of, I almost said June. I don't know why I almost said June, but I did. It is the 19th day of December, year of our Lord 2023. Did you know that December the 19th is the 353rd day of the year? 353. 12 days remaining until the end of the year. And if you don't have your New Year's Eve plans by now, you're going to have, maybe that's the best New Year's Eve. Because I always say that anytime you have plans on New Year's Eve, it always sucks because your plans always involve some, $100, $200, $300 ticket to some hotel ballroom. And it's always oversold, and it's always too crowded, and it's the worst. The best New Year's Eve plans is a house party. A house party. Come on, man. That's the best way to do it. You don't have to get dressed up. You get house party dressed up, but you know what I mean? It's not like formal. Anyway, Happy New Year. On this day, I should explain, because we're out of sync because of all the announcements that needed to be made. I need to explain. We do the show in 4 quarters. There are 4 segments that come together and create this High Noon Rant. The first quarter, we call that Erstwhile on This Day. It's a look back at the history, the events that have shaped our understanding of what this day has been. And as I like to say, give us a little edge on maybe predicting what's going to come in the hours ahead. That's what we do. We look for rhythms and patterns. Erstwhile on this day. Then quarter 2, we go to birthdays. We talk about people who were born on this day. Not everybody. That's nuts. Just the ones that I'm interested in can rant on for a few minutes. We decide essentially, happy birthday to this person. Are they cool? Then we go into the third quarter, which is the mourns. That's right. People who died. We get a list of people who died on this day. We open up their life's resume and we decide based on our understanding of Christian Judeo prerequisites, are they in heaven or are they in hell? That's the deads. That's quarter 1, 2, and 3. Quarter 4, as you all know, where the rubber hits the road. This is the big part of the show. It's the rundown of all the events that are happening right now and shaping this day. So let's get started with the first segment, Erstwhile on this day. Erstwhile on this day in 1777, the American Revolutionary War, George Washington's Continental Army goes into winter quarters at Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. Isn't this the crossing of the Delaware? Right? This is that Valley Forge on the Delaware River? Isn't this what he did? Isn't that a Christmas thing? Like an American Christmas thing? He crossed the river. I don't know. I know there's a painting where he's like standing in a boat and everybody else is rowing and it looks very unstable. I don't know, to me. Erstwhile on this day in 1900, French Parliament votes amnesty for all involved in scandalous army treason trial known as the Dreyfus Affair. That's right, the Dreyfus Affair. The Dreyfus Affair was a very big scandal in France, and it had to do with a Jewish military officer who was being accused of treason and conspiring with the enemy. Now, he wasn't. It was just that all of the other officers who were bringing these charges against him were wildly anti-Semitic. And this was like a really big anti-Semitic persecution of the Jews in France kind of thing. He was acquitted. He was acquitted because, France, for all their revolutionary nonsense, they were a pretty civilized country and they had a legal, procedure. He went to court and he was acquitted. So the Dreyfus Affair, and he went on to, do a lot of things. That guy, Alfred Dreyfus was his name. And he is like the great, great, great uncle of Julia Louis-Dreyfus. There you go. The Dreyfus Affair. It's where her family got all their money. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is a billionaire. I don't know if you know this. Her father runs and operates, or ran and operated, something called the Dreyfus Fund, which is like a multi-billion-dollar investment fund or something. I don't know what they do. They got a lot of money, and she's fantastic. She might be my favorite little rich girl. I don't know. I just like Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She seems cool. On this day in 1924, erstwhile German serial killer Fritz Hartmann is sentenced to death for a series of murders. Didn't know they had serial killers before the 1970s, but here we are in 1924, Germany setting the pace. On this day, erstwhile in 1967, Harold Holt, the Prime Minister of Australia, is officially presumed dead. Yeah, okay. Now I wonder, who is he, right? Never heard of him. This is crazy. This is the leader of Australia. He just, when he was the leader of Australia, apparently, as the story goes, he got out of a car and just walked into the ocean and was never seen again. Never seen again. The president. So imagine the president of the United States just going, I'm going down to the beach. And then Secret Service guys just watch him just disappear and then he got taken off by a riptide. They never found his body. He was declared dead years later. And they went, guess we need a new prime minister. Harold Holt on this day wandered into the ocean, was never seen again. Prime Minister of Australia. On this day in 1972, the Apollo program, the last crewed lunar flight, Apollo 17 carried Eugene Cernan, Ron Evans, and Harrison Schmitt. This is the day it returned to Earth. It splashed down. Good job, boys. Godspeed. Welcome home to Mother Earth, whatever they say. I don't know. Godspeed is something they say. I know that. Erstwhile on this day in 1991, Joe Cole, American roadie and author, is killed in an armed robbery. Now, why is this notable? Well, it's notable first of all, it's just a crazy, horrible story. And if you're fans of the Rollins band, or if you're a fan of Henry Rollins, you've probably heard him discuss this because Henry Rollins was there. Joe Cole, incidentally here, I should mention, just because if you don't know who Joe Cole was, I mean, he's listed as, American roadie for rock bands, but Joe Cole was the son of Dennis Cole. Do you guys know who Dennis Cole is? Does that sound even remotely familiar? If you're Gen X like me and you grew up watching TV in the 1970s, Dennis Cole was like a regular TV guy. He was like a good-looking TV guy. So here, this is Dennis Cole. This is the father of, you might remember him from, I don't know, Love Boats or Fantasy Islands. He often played a young doctor on hospital shows. Let's see if there's more pictures of him. Yeah, there he is. Just a real handsome guy. Dennis Cole. You know, you've seen him if you remember 70s TV. Anyway, his son Joe Cole was lifelong best friends with Henry Rollins. Henry Rollins, Black Flag. This is back in the days of Black Flag. And he was their like roadie tour guy. He was Henry's best friend. So he was the guy that, he had a lot to do with, the stuff that didn't involve playing guitar on stage. He was, bands have a group of people behind the scenes who don't get credit, but they're every bit as important to the band. So that's what I'm trying to say about Joe Cole. Joe Cole and Henry Rollins were returning home late at night. I think they lived in Venice Beach, California. This was in 1991. They were returning home to their apartment in Venice Beach, California. It was in a really sketchy neighborhood. And while they were walking into their front door, they were confronted by two armed men in masks that demanded all their money. When they gave them all their money, and it turned out to be less than $50, the two robbers became upset and angry and demanded to be taken inside the home. You see, these robbers were laying in wait for them to come home at this particular house. I'll get to why in a moment. During this entering of the house, there was a scuffle. And if you know anything about Henry Rollins, you can totally imagine, him throwing down, trying to get the drop on somebody. He's a big dude and he's a tough dude. Didn't end well for Joe Cole. Joe Cole was shot in the face at point blank range. Henry Rollins was able to escape. He ran away. He got away safely, and he called police. To this day, the two men have never been caught. This is a cold case at this point, the murder of Joe Cole. But here's the interesting story as to why it is believed that these two banger thugs were waiting for Henry Rollins and Joe Cole. It's because the day before, or actually they said the day before, meaning the day before, this occurred after midnight. So it was that afternoon. It was 12 hours earlier. 12 hours earlier, Rick Rubin, the record company guy, had came by the house trying to do some business, and they didn't want to work with Rick Rubin or whatever. So Rick Rubin was trying to get Black Flag and Henry Rollins, for whatever. And apparently Rick Rubin was parked in front of their house for a couple of hours waiting for them to return in a Rolls Royce. Everyone in the neighborhood saw that Rolls Royce parked in front of that house and went, holy crap, there's probably stuff in there. And that's why this happened. What a crazy story, huh? I mean, Henry Rollins blames Rick Rubin. Well, not blames directly, but says, look, that's the reason. Why were we targeted? Why were they waiting for us to come home late at night? Because they had seen a Rolls Royce parked in front of the house for, a couple of hours the day before. Joe Cole died on this day in 1991. One of the great sordid rock and roll stories from the 1990s. Let's see. Erstwhile, on this day in 1998, President Bill Clinton is impeached by the United States House of Representatives, becoming the second president of the United States to be impeached. He would not be the last, as we would come to know. All right, that's it. Erstwhile on this day, we're done. Quarter one is in the book. So now let's move into, that's right, they say it's their birthday. Let's talk about some people born on this day. What do you say? All right, first, here's a dude that I love. Ladies and gentlemen, Maurice White celebrating a birthday today, although he's dead, so he's not really celebrating it. That's unfortunate. Maurice White is one of the great funk, soul, R&B, pop composers, maestros of all time, and you may not know his name because he never really went solo. Although he did kind of go solo, didn't he? I seem to remember, didn't he do something with Jackson Browne? I don't know, whatever. Maurice White was famous as the leader of Earth, Wind, and Fire, the most underrated rock band in American history. And rock, I guess, is difficult because they were rock, funk, soul. But Earth, Wind, and Fire, man, I challenge anyone to just go to Spotify, put in Earth, Wind, and Fire and hit play and just let it roll. Your day will improve. I promise you. Earth, Wind, and Fire were great. And Maurice White, celebrating a birthday today, although, as I said, he's dead. Born on this day in 1942, Mean Gene Okerlund. Mean Gene Okerlund of wrestling fame, WWE. Everybody likes Mean Gene. Happy birthday, Mean Gene. Born on this day in 1944, Tim Reed, a.k.a. Venus Flytrap. Tim Reed started out as a stand-up comedian in a team, a comedy team, the comedy team of Reed and Dreesen, and it was Tim Reed and Tom Dreesen. Tim Reed would go on to solo success as Venus Flytrap in one of the greatest and most underrated sitcoms of all time, WKRP in Cincinnati. God, that show was so funny. That show was so well written. And it's probably the reason that I got into radio. I mean, I don't know that I was interested in working in radio before that show, but man, WKRP in Cincinnati. Venus Flytrap celebrating a birthday today. Born on this day in 1946. Here's a guy we also lost. This was kind of a bummer because, again, Gen X, if you're a Gen X boy, you thought this dude was the cat's pajamas. Ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday to Robert Urich. Robert Urich, otherwise known as Dan Tana from Vegas. You guys remember Vegas? Oh, God. He parked his T-Bird in his living room. I was like 10 years old. I couldn't process how cool that was. That was like, and then I remember, I think it was my grandpa. Yeah, it was my grandpa. He was always looking to harsh a buzz. We're watching Vegas, and I go, Grandpa, how cool is that? Parks his car right in his living room. And I remember my grandpa saying something like, yeah, he'll be dead in 3 days from the gas fumes. I'm like, okay, whatever. You have any idea? Hey, Johnny. He's like, hey, Johnny, you have any idea what his living room smells like with that car in there? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think he cares. You see the kind of women Dan Tana is pulling? He's got showgirl after showgirl. They don't care if the living room smells like T-Bird. Anyway, he's cool. You know who I always, Hollywood Clone Factory, I don't want to get into this line, but there is a line, a Robert Urich line. Robert Urich comes from what's famously known as the Robert Wagner line. It was a number of these sort of disposable TV-friendly leading men, not quite the caliber of the big screen, but they were designed for the small screen. As I say, Robert Wagner was the first. Robert Wagner, famous from Heart to Heart and all that. He was the first in this clone line. The clone line does still exist today in the form of Timothy Oliphant. I don't know if you're familiar with Timothy Oliphant, but put Timothy Oliphant next to Robert Urich and you'll know what I'm talking about. Happy birthday, Robert Urich. He died of cancer. How sad. I didn't mean that dismissively. I just meant that, like, let's move on to the next thing. Nobody should be dismissive of cancer. It lurks for us all in some way, shape, or form. Robert Urich, born on this day in 46. Born on this day in 61. How about Reggie White, the Minister of Defense? Second all time. Yeah, I think he's second all time in sacks for a guy. Reggie White. He died. Bill Cosby killed. Bill Cosby killed. He did. There was some movie he had gone to. It was the day after Christmas, and on Christmas night, Reggie White and his family went to go see some movie, and it was a Bill Cosby movie. So what Bill Cosby movie came out in 2004? Would have been 2004. I don't know, but whatever. He went and saw that movie, and he went to sleep and never woke up. So there you go. Reggie White, Minister of Defense, born on this day in 1961. Born on this day in 1963, Jennifer Beals. Ugh, this is one of my nitpicky things. Would you stop? Everybody, this is one of those names that everybody gets wrong. Everybody, Jennifer Beal. I'm a big fan of Jennifer Beal. I'm like, there's an S there. I go, it's Jennifer Beals. Fields. It's like we have the same problem with Justin Field in Chicago. People are like, Justin Field. I'm like, no, it's Justin Fields. There is a plural there. Anyway, Jennifer Beals, hot babe. I'm trying to think of who else. Jennifer Beal and Daryl Hannah. They both popped at the same time, around about the same time. And here's the weird thing: they both went to the same high school. Isn't that weird? Isn't that bizarre? Jennifer Beal and Daryl Hannah went to the same high school, and they both popped as stars, like right around the same time. That's weird. All right. Jennifer Beal's still doing stuff. Wasn't she in that show, The L Word? I've never seen The L Word. I've never seen The L Word because I just assumed it wasn't for me. I mean, I'm a straight guy, so you would think I like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not for me. I didn't think that it was like Penthouse presents The L. Like, I didn't think it was that. That might be for me. But this was like The L Word. This is, a serious exploration of the lifestyle of gay women. And, I'm sure that's an important show. I've just never seen it. But Jennifer Beals is on it, so I like her. Born on this day in 1967, Chris Angel. This guy. Oh, God. Poor man's David Blaine, right? Can we all agree? Chris Angel. It's like they had David Blaine and they were like, we need something else weird. And they came up with Chris Angel. I like David Blaine. I used to not like David Blaine. I don't like Chris Angel. Just so we're straight, I don't like Chris Angel. I think he's like a Vegas magician, D-bag street guy. It's not my thing. David Blaine, however, I used to have a real weird vibe on David Blaine where I was like, I don't like that guy. I don't know. Yeah, it's cool, but I don't like that guy. But over the years, like just understanding that really is who David Blaine is. He really is just kind of this monotone, unflappable, just as, and I kind of like it now. So I like David Blaine. Don't like Chris Angel. That's too bad because it's Chris Angel's birthday. All right. Born on this day in 1969, American actress Christy Swanson, the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Remember her from the movies, Christy Swanson? Christy Swanson's kind of a nutbag. She's done a whole bunch of stuff. She's been in trouble a lot. She was involved in the David Spade thing. David Spade was like dating her. Remember when David Spade got beat up by his like 350-pound assistant? So I don't know the story. You'd have to look it up, but somehow like Skippy or something was the name of David Spade's assistant. David Spade had an assistant. The assistant was like 350 pounds. His name was Skippy or something. And I don't know if the assistant was no longer working for David Spade or whatever, but David Spade had recently been dating Christy Swanson and they had broken up. And this dude, this assistant, snuck into David Spade's house in the middle of the night and like tried to beat the crap out of him. Remember that? And David Spade had to get a gun and hide in the, and then they got arrested, this guy, and he was nuts and all that. But there was some story about he was doing it for Christy Swanson or something. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, my point is this. Christy Swanson comes from the Hollywood Clone Factory. Christy Swanson is the latest in a line. They've always been... the branches on this line have gone in so many directions that it's hard to figure out exactly where it started. But this line of Hollywood clone that Christy Swanson was a part of probably has its origins in the Doris Day clones. I think that might be the origins, but as I said, over the years, it split up. Anyway, Christy Swanson was released in the late 80s. She was with a line of clones that included people like Julia Stiles, right? Kirsten Dunst and Reese Witherspoon were later additions to this. They were upgrades. But yeah, this one, Christy Swanson was with people like Julia Stiles and Amy Locane. Like, remember Amy Locane? Yeah, they're the same model. They were just pumped out to, fill that need. Of beautiful young girl, again, who was not programmed for Hollywood big screen success, but basically just TV and stuff like that. Christy Swanson, born on this day in 1969. Hollywood clone, famous Hollywood clone. And of course, born on this day in 1971 from the exact same clone line, same birthday, Amy Locane. Yeah, we were just talking about Amy Locane. Christy Swanson and Amy Locane, same birthday. They're from the same clone line, so that checks out. I don't know when Julia Stiles' birthday is, but I mean, this was kind of a kooky line. They had some real glitches with this line. I've mentioned the Christy Swanson glitches where they had to discontinue her and she can't get work anymore. But then there was also the Amy Locane glitch. You guys remember Amy Locane? Here, just in case we don't remember her, I'll pull up. Let's see. So this is Amy Locane. Famously in Crybaby. I mean, that's one that I remember her from. It's beautiful young actress. Now she's like, what, 50 something. So still beautiful, but just older. So here, I'm going to show you a picture of Amy Locane and we're going to talk about her story, which you're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember Amy Locane. Sure. We all remember her. Why haven't I heard of her in 10 years? Well, buckle your seatbelts, because as I said, this line of clone had some glitches. There she is back in her day when she was, yeah, Amy Locane was kind of beautiful. But you can see it. She's from the Kirsten Dunst, Reese Witherspoon, Christy Swanson. Look, who was that? She looks like Kirsten Dunst there. That is totally Kirsten Dunst. That's the malleability of these clones. All right, so here's Amy Locane. it's already picked. There she is when she was young. This is when we probably remember Amy Locane when she was first released from the Clone Factory. Amy Locane's been in prison for like 5 years. Amy Locane is in prison. Did you guys know that? Like, Amy Locane killed somebody. She killed Amy Locane. Yeah, that girl we were just looking at. Big actress from like the early 90s. And then she never did anything. And we're like, okay, so here's what happened. So in 2006, Amy Locane married. She did it right. She did. This is another way that, you know, they release the clones into the wild after they're done, after it's no longer, you know, they need upgrades in order to continue in the modern world of Hollywood, and they don't get the upgrades. So what happens a lot of time with these clones, is the beautiful ones to be sure, is they end up marrying businessmen, wealthy businessmen. Amy Locane turned 33 years old, married a guy who's on the verge of being a billionaire, and then just quit acting because, you know, why not? Just... Well, she was bored, apparently, because she started drinking, and Amy Locane became a pretty bad alcoholic, if the stories are true. And one day she was cruising around her neighborhood doing 55 and a 30 when an old man was trying to make a left turn into his driveway. She didn't see him. He was doing 4 miles an hour. She was doing 55. She plowed into the back of him, killed his wife in the passenger seat. That's Amy Locane. Amy Locane is currently in a women's prison in New Jersey. Happy birthday. Former Hollywood celebrity Amy Locane. Crazy. Look at this. In another one. We didn't even mention this one. I didn't even mention this one in the line of clones, but she also comes from this line of clones. She was just a more ethnic version. 1972, born unto this world. Happy birthday to Alyssa Milano. That's right. She was the brunette version of the Julia Stiles, Christy Swanson. She came out a little bit earlier, but I don't know, sometimes I'm making all this stuff up, and sometimes I back myself into a corner with facts. But remember, what's the deal with facts? As long as you say them confidently, somebody's going to believe you. It doesn't matter if you believe it, just say it confidently. Talk radio, AM talk radio is built on the premise of saying things that aren't true confidently and then having people go, well, he knows because he's on the radio, so I'm going to repeat this at Thanksgiving. And that's how it happens. That's talk radio. That's why I stream. Born on this day in 1972. Isn't this interesting? Born on the same day as Reggie White, the Minister of Defense. How about another great one from that era? It is Warren Sapp's birthday. That's right, Warren Sapp. Born on this day in 1980. Jake Gyllenhaal having a birthday. Gyllenhaal. All right. And finally, a big happy birthday, born on this day in 1987. I don't care what the name on the birth certificate says. He is not Woody Allen's son. Ladies and gentlemen, Ronan Farrow, the son of Mia Farrow and Frank Sinatra. Born on this day. What is 36? What is he? 20, 33, 36. Ronan Farrow is 36 years old today. All right, that's going to do it for birthdays. Quarter 2 is in the book. Now we move on to the people who died. We like this. This is, these are dead people. Boom, there we go. Quarter 3. Sorry, I got an ear. My ear is hurting me. Oh, hey, by the way, again, might be another short show because I got a bunch of meetings this afternoon and I'm waiting on a text. Not a short show like it's not going to be over in 10 minutes, but I mean like a shorter than normal show. We might be clocking it here in about an hour, okay? You might just bear with me, please. Got a lot going on this week. I appreciate it. Dead people. This is where we go through a list of people who have died on this day and we open up their life's resume and decide, are they in heaven or hell? So let's get started here. Dead on this day in 1997, Jimmie Rodgers. Who was Jimmie Rodgers, ladies and gentlemen? Jimmie Rodgers, one of the great bluesmen of all time. Electric blues, played in Muddy Waters band, went on to have a nice solo career of his own. One of the greats, one of the Hall of Fame greats, Jimmie Rodgers, dead on this day in 1997. I'm putting that man in the Hall of Fame. Heaven, that is. Hall of Fame. What? I'm putting him in heaven. Jimmie Rodgers, American singer, songwriter, blues guitarist, born in 1924. Dead on this day in 2005. We're preemptively putting this dude in hell. This guy's awesome. This guy's awesome, but he's going to hell, and he's also terrible. So he's awesome because he's so terrible. His story is so fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, dead on this day in 2005, Vincent Gigante. Now, you know how I love my mafia stuff. You know how I'm pretty much, the outfit in Chicago is my comfort zone. That's the history of the outfit from Capone all the way through, Joey the Clown. I'm pretty good with, but I also like the Five Families of New York. And the Five Families of New York have a lot of interesting little, kooks to choose from. Vincent Gigante, Vinny the Chin Gigante is certainly one of the best. Vinny the Chin was a boxer. He's a professional boxer who was a heavy for the mob. He rose up. What family was he in charge of? Hold on. I'm not entirely sure. I'm trying to think, because I think I got confused by, if you guys watched The Godfather of Harlem, that's the incredible Forrest Whitaker show about the guy who. Okay, so here's what The Godfather of Harlem is. Have you ever seen American Gangster? Okay, you know the story of American Gangster? Denzel Washington plays that guy. Okay, the guy that Denzel Washington plays in American Gangster, Forrest, what's his name? I can't think of his name. The guy, come on, Jefferson from Fast Times. How come I know he was Jefferson from Fast Times but can't think of his actual name? Forrest Whitaker? That's Lou Whitaker. I don't know, whatever, that guy. He plays his boss. So Denzel Washington's character from American Gangster had a boss. And that guy, he's got his own show, and it's called Godfather of Harlem. It takes place just before the events of American Gangster. It's excellent. And Vinny the Chin Gigante, played by Vincent D'Onofrio in Godfather of Harlem, is a main character. So they went hard on Vinny the Chin in this show because he's such a kook. Now, famously, in later life, Vinny the Chin was the Daffy Don, or any number of names, because the feds were always trying to get him in jail. And he knew that his best defense was going to be insanity. So for 20 years, Vinny the Chin Gigante would wander around Greenwich Village in New York in a bathrobe, muttering to himself, because he knew the FBI was following him. And he wanted them to have to write down that he was walking around in a bathrobe, muttering to himself. Vinny the Chin! He tried to make them think they were crazy, that he was crazy. I think he was eventually sent to prison. And he's in hell now. Vinny the Chin Gigante is in hell for sure. All right, let's see who else died on this day. Who do we got to cover here? Ooh, here's another one. We're gonna preemptively put him in hell as well, but only because Al Goldstein does not want to go to heaven. Who is Al Goldstein? Well, Al Goldstein was a guy who made Larry Flint look like Norman Rockwell. Yeah, Al Goldstein was a pornographer. He ran a magazine called Screw. Screw magazine was one of the most, I guess by modern day Pornhub standards, it's actually, like a Sears catalog from the 1950s. That's what Screw is compared to what today's pornography looks like. But Al Goldstein was a publisher. He was a provocateur. He was a First Amendment advocate. Really, I just think he was a sleazy, businessman who went, oh, you mean I can do things that are, borderline not right, but I can claim First Amendment. He was one of those guys. But over the course of my years doing radio, he always made himself available, and I've interviewed Al Goldstein many times. And he's a great old man. He was a fun old man. Like, he was cool, like he was a wild one. But he's in hell. Yeah, we're gonna put Al Goldstein, publisher of Screw magazine, in hell. All right, that's gonna do it. Quarter 1, 2, and 3 are in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Look at us. We are rolling through today's show. So let's get into quarter 4. These are all the things that are happening on this day, the stuff that is going on right now, the stuff you need to know about. Also, I'd like to thank our executive producer of today's show. He was the big tipper yesterday. He is Keith Babar. Also, thank you so much to Frank Smith. Frank dropped a little something yesterday. Frank does these nice little incremental ones, and they're beautiful. So thank you, Frank. I appreciate that. If you would like to be tomorrow's executive producer, all you have to do is drop in the biggest tip of the day. And by the way, if we get a bunch of good tips, and we typically don't, but if we do, you'll get to be producer too. We'll make it a co-production if the number's tied. Then, look, somebody gives $1 million. Yeah, technically they're the executive producer, but somebody then gives like $900,000. The co-production. Look at me. Hey, man, shoot your shot. Think big, right? Maybe there's a millionaire out there who wants to, I don't know. All right, let's get into all the things that are happening today, right? So let's run through these. We start each and every show, at least at this point, we talk about Israel because that seems to be the big global story that we need to get out of the way. What's happening in Israel? Well, not so much Israel or Gaza proper, but how about this going on? We got some Red Sea stuff. You know about, I used to say, what do we need a Navy for? Like, it didn't seem like we needed a Navy anymore. It seemed to me that we could just bomb people from, with missiles and from outer space and planes. It just seemed like a waste of money, the Navy. I guess I'm wrong because apparently the Navy is being used here. We've got some Red Sea operations happening. Now, what's going on here? So in defense of the people of Gaza, Houthi rebels, who are another group, they are not Hamas, they are Houthis. Houthi rebels have taken it upon themselves to begin patrolling the Red Sea shipping lanes and wreaking havoc. They've been bombing transporters and tankers and all of this kind of stuff. So now, as happened in World War II, when the British and the Americans, the Allied forces, decided to protect the shipping lanes of the North Atlantic between Europe and America, we're doing it again. We're doing it now in the Red Sea. We're bringing out some big guns, too. This is not, I don't know who these Houthi rebels think they're going up against, but they are going up against a very formidable force. New U.S.-led Red Sea task force won't stop shipping attacks, the Houthis defiantly say. Okay, good luck with that. You and your little shoulder harnessed have you seen the guns on these boats? Dude, they're going to blow up your entire town. Doesn't matter where you're hiding. They're just going to shell your town. Dateline, Sana'a, Yemen. That's where the Houthis are from. The Houthis are from Yemen. Yemeni Houthi militants said Tuesday they will not stop their military operations in the Red Sea this hours after the United States announced the formation of a multinational naval coalition to protect commercial shipping there. The Yemeni group, Houthis, such a cute name, the Yemeni group that aligned with Iran has been targeting commercial ships in protest over Israel and Gaza, disrupting one of the world's busiest shipping routes. Our war is a moral war. And therefore, no matter how many alliances America mobilizes, our military operations will not stop, said Mohammed. All right, bear with me. Mohammed al-Bukaidi? Al-Bukaidi? That's not bad. I think I got that. Mohammed al-Bukaidi, a member of the organization's ruling council, participating in a coalition to protect the perpetrators of genocidal crimes is a disgrace. In the history of the participating countries, he added. If America had moved in the right direction, it would have obliged Israel to stop its crimes without the need to expand the scope of this conflict, Houthi spokesperson said. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has announced the launch of Operation Prosperity. Oh, wait, I guess it's called Operation Prosperity Guardian. Stupid name. On Monday as he travels through Israel. Okay. He also says countries that seek to uphold the foundational principle of freedom of navigation must come together to tackle the challenges posed by this non-state actor, Austin said in a statement. All right, there you have it. So we're going to have some naval battles. Cool. COVID is trending. COVID. Schools are going back to video classrooms and all that. I don't know, as I cough real good. I did it all. I did all the stuff I was supposed to do. I got my booster, all that kind of stuff. But it's been over a year. I'm not getting anything new. People are getting sick now. I don't know. Are people dying still? I don't know. Like COVID, is it like the flu now? Are we just is it flu season? Because, I imagine at some point people were kind of freaked out about the spread of the flu. But then, it got to be 2023 and we're like, hey, we can handle the flu. And then we got, COVID. So is that what this is? Is this just going to be like a new seasonal thing that's going to pop out every now and again? And people who are in bad health because of whatever, they're going to be vulnerable. I guess I don't know. Moving on. How about this story out of the great state of Texas? That's where we do this show. High atop the One Percenter compound in beautiful sunny downtown Highland Park, Texas. The Comfort Nest Studios, if you will, here in the land of Radio Misfits. Excuse me. Texas police have been given some extra authority, which I got to be honest here. Like when I saw this story, I'm like, that's a story? They can't already do this? Texas Governor Greg Abbott, well, I'm not a fan of. He seems a bit of a hypocrite, but okay. Texas governor signs a bill that lets police arrest migrants who enter the U.S. illegally. So there's a bill now in Texas where a cop has the right to arrest an illegal migrant. I assume they already could. Like, isn't that, or is that a thing? I didn't know this. Now, I guess the concern, and again, I'm not taking a position on this. I'm simply trying to work out this news story, okay? So police in Texas can now arrest migrants. What does that mean and what does that look like? Like, I'm imagining a cop sitting on the American side of the border watching people come across and then hitting the lights and putting them in cuffs. That seems fair. There's no question about where they're coming from, right? But is the concern that cops are now going to, say to a guy standing in front of a 7-Eleven, where are your papers? Is that what this is about? Because then I got some problems with that. I'm a little bit concerned. Probable cause being as tenuous as it's always been. Like, what is probable cause? Well, what is probable cause to an officer may not be what probable cause is to a judge. So we've had that problem before. So what does a police? Oh man, I mean, I can see how it's going to be a problem, and I'm kind of starting to understand why it wasn't a law before. I just assumed it was. I assumed that a cop could arrest anybody for doing anything illegal, and sneaking into the country without papers seems to be illegal. Now, I would have assumed that they would arrest them and then have to turn them over to a federal agency in charge of deportations and all that. But apparently under this law, they can be arrested, but then released. So they'll be released, and then there will be a court date where they will have to go in front of a judge, and that judge will then kick them out of the country. But in the meantime, there is zero accounting for them. So yeah, once they get out, because they can't be held for a long period of time on this charge, once they get out, they're in the wind. Once they get out, it's like, okay, now come back to court. They're in the wind. That's why these things are so stupid and thoughtless, and why they sometimes strike me as being authored simply to be mean, because it's like, it's just being mean. It's just like, yeah, we should be able to harass them. I'm like, well, if you're in this country illegally, you're breaking the law, and we should have better mechanisms in order to enforce these laws. But I really didn't know that police in Texas needed some kind of special signature from the governor yesterday in order to be able to arrest him. And again, when I think of this, I think of a cop sitting there watching people cross into the country and then going, "You're under arrest." I don't consider, the cop that just sees a guy that he wants to fuck with, excuse my language, and he's like, "Oh, you see your papers," and then, oh man. Look, these are high dollar dilemmas. These are not for a guy like me. I'm just simply not that smart. I just want to be nice to people. I just want to have fun, and let's just be nice and share some laughs and just try and be chill. Can we just do that? Too many angry people that don't want that. You know why they don't want that? Because they've replaced all their joy in life with the endorphin high of rage. That's what it is. When there's nothing in your life, when you hate your job and your kid's a disappointment, and your wife is just gross to you now, when that's who you are at 50 years old, the only enjoyment, the only endorphin high you get is when you're triggered and angry. So that's why people tend to become that way. This is not just me. By the way, this is years of therapy. This is stuff that's been documented. That's why there are so many angry people at certain stages of their life, because they're unfulfilled by everything else. And when you're angry and pissed, stuff's going, you feel good. That's a drug. We don't consider it because we typically don't look that closely at ourselves. But yes, that's the same thing that happens when you see something that makes you laugh. something that you see somebody, they trip and fall and it's very funny. Ha, ha, and that genuine laugh. Same shit. It's the same shit for the brain. The brain goes, oh, I love this. And when you don't have a lot of joy in your life because you're a miserable person, that gets replaced with rage. And you're still meeting your needs. You're still getting some satisfaction. So I guess that's behind the Texas law. I just thought it was a law already. And, so, yeah, there you have it. I'm also one of these guys who's like, nah, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I just don't. MS-13 is a problem. But the guys who show up every day, every other day and, make these lawns look gorgeous, they don't seem to be the problem. I don't know. Hardworking people looking for a better life. And don't tell me there's no room. Have you ever been to Nebraska? Don't tell me there's no room. I don't know. I mean, immigration is a serious subject. Don't come to it for me. If we're having beers and we're talking about it, I'll point out where you're being an asshole, but I don't have any solutions. I don't know. Congress is trending today because this is apparently, the PFF, Pro Football Focus, did their power rankings. This is the least effective Congress in decades. And Congress has never been effective. Like, Congress hasn't been effective in 100 years. I don't even know that they were before that. They've never been effective. But this particular Congress is doing absolutely nothing. Not a damn thing. Capitol Hill stunner. 2023 led to fewest laws in decade. Bills enacted by this Congress in session. And then it's like nothing. It's like the 118th Congress is on track to be one of the most unproductive in modern history. And that kind of makes sense, though. I mean, look, they've had a lot of problems. They had their issues with the speaker, and then there's all this infight. The party that's in power typically is able to do whatever they want in their agenda. The problem is that the party in power is fractured, and they can't seem to agree on anything. So then you got the other party that's in the minority, and they're just sitting there going, so nobody is doing anything. And maybe that's a good thing, because whenever these people do something, why it matters, it's the product of not only divided partisan control of Washington, but infighting within the House Republican majority. Well, that's what I just said. Okay, so I don't need to read this stuff. Never mind. There you go. What a surprise, right? This Congress is particularly bad. All the Congress is always, their approval rating is always like 3 to 5%. Always. And again, this is that stupid person dilemma that we fall into. We hate Congress. Everybody in Congress is a crook. Everybody in Congress needs to be voted out, with one exception, right? And what's the exception? Our congressman. It's everybody else's congressman. You people need to vote out your congressman. Your Congress sucks. If we could just get rid of these people. Oh, not my guy. Oh, no, my guy's cool. No, my guy I met at a pancake breakfast. My guy came out to my son's Little League game one summer. Oh, yeah, my guy's got my vote for life. That's the problem with Congress. Everybody loves their guy. Everybody's going to fight for their guy. It's everybody else's guy that's screwing shit up. That's who we are. We're dumb. We're dumb people. Iceland. Well, some of us are smart. I mean, not me, but I've seen some comments in the chat room over time that have led me to believe that we do have some hope. Not a lot, though, but some. All right, Iceland. Let's talk about Iceland. Oh, my God, you guys, first of all my old heads, you know about me, right? My favorite, it's my Zen spot, Iceland. I love that place. Wouldn't want to retire there, but would love to travel there. Like, I would love to be able to spend a month in Iceland every year. That would be cool. What month would it be? It wouldn't be during the solstice. Oh, it would be during the solstice. I would go during the solstice because that's when all the fun stuff happens. Iceland is an amazing place. I tell everybody, I go, look, if you ever wanted to go to the moon, but know that that's probably not going to happen, go to Iceland. Go to Iceland and stand in a prehistoric lava field and just spin around, and for as far as the eye can see, it's nothing but a moonscape. It's just incredibly cool. I love Iceland. One of the reasons I like Iceland is because of that moonscape topography. And well, we got a situation. That's right. Iceland is exploding. Iceland's got one of their volcanoes. Now, this is why is this interesting? Well, one, because there's only like one big city in Iceland, Reykjavik, and it's a very cool city. Reykjavik is kind of like in the line of a lot of this. Now, we're not going to get, it's not going to be Pompeii, okay? But what it will do is it's probably going to create some kind of plume, some kind of destructive plume of smoke that is going to disrupt everything from satellite transmissions to transatlantic air travel. So that's what they're worried about. Not necessarily, a million people. Are there even a million people in Iceland? I don't know. Or it's not necessarily the population of Iceland being consumed by hot lava. Here, they got some amazing pictures. Let's see if we can show some of these. Iceland, man, I'm telling you, frozen volcanoes. That's so badass. Like, you think of volcanoes, you think of like Hawaii, you think of like where King Kong lives. You don't think of like, seals and whales and polar bears running from lava. Let's see here. Icelandic volcano. Give me some good pictures. Oh, what's this? Oh, here's a video. Oh, it's a video, but you know what? Watch a commercial. All right, here we go. All right, nobody cares. Come on. All right, JBL makes headphones. There you go. Look at this. All right, so this is a video of like, you don't, like, people live around here. Like, this is not like, as far, that's kind of my point, that it's in the Reykjavian Peninsula, which is the area of the country where Reykjavik is and where most of the population is. I mean, people can see this out their windows. They're just like, yeah, the mountain's on fire. We got any more good video? Let's see. Come on, get it closer. Do we have anything closer? No. Look, man, look at that. That's hot. That's like melt your sword hot. All right. I guess that's not as great a video as I had hoped. All right, folks, I'm sorry. There's all kinds of stuff. Peter says the Iceland population is 372,000 as of 2021. I don't foresee too much change in that population due to the volcano. I think it's going to be fine. I just think that there's going to. What's going on? Oh, I see what's going on. Sorry. I don't know if you guys heard that. Had something going off in my head. All right, there you go. Iceland. We're covering Iceland. What else do we have here? Jonathan Major. Jonathan Major. We talked about him the other day. We played the video. We watched, we listened to some text messages, or we read some text messages. We listened to some audio. Jonathan Major is the young actor who starred in the Creed films, and he was signed to a multi-picture deal with Marvel to be Kang. Had his own film there in 2026. Kang the Conqueror, starring him, was to be released. He's not that anymore. Marvel and Disney have both moved on from Jonathan Major, because yesterday in a New York City court, he was found guilty of assault and harassment of his girlfriend, which, whatever. I mean, we watched the video. I followed this story very closely. He seemed to be a bad boyfriend. I mean, he's kind of an arrogant dick, and he demanded a certain kind of girl to be in a relationship with. And according to what we listened to, tapes that were recorded by her, he had a whole list of things that he wanted in a woman, and he told her. And out of context, played like that, that sounds bad. I didn't think it sounded bad, though. I think it sounded direct. I think it made him sound like an arrogant guy, but this can't be the first time she's seeing him be an arrogant guy. She's been with him for a while. She knows what he's like. The issue that I had was what this was all about, the so-called assault that happened in the backseat of an Uber. There was just the woman who said she was assaulted, the actor who's accused of the assault, and the Uber driver. And the Uber driver said that it was her, 100%. And then we saw the video of him trying to get out of the Uber and away from her. And he ran through the streets of New York to try and do what we men are always told in these situations. Just extricate yourself from the situation. Don't let your ego get you a night in jail. It's stupid. Just get out. So he did. We saw the video. He's running away. He then went back to his apartment. We saw video of her outside his apartment trying to get in, where she met up with some strangers who were there in the lobby of his apartment building. She ended up going out drinking all night with these strangers after having been abused and all that stuff. She rang up thousands of dollars on Jonathan Major's credit card, buying bottles of champagne that night for these strangers that she met. And then in the morning, Jonathan Major woke up and he went to his front door and he looked out and he saw this girl crashed out on his stoop. This girl that he had had this situation with the night before, a girl he had been in a relationship with. He saw her crashed out on the stoop. He called 911. Why? Because he's not a monster. She needs help. So he calls 911. The police show up. The ambulance shows up. They check her out. She says he assaulted me. He goes to jail. And that's what the jury convicted him on, because that's what he was being charged with, the incidents of that night, not the incidents, you cannot put people on trial for these kinds of, historic hearsay things where, well, he was, months ago, I recorded this. Listen to how arrogant he is. That's fine. He might be arrogant. You should have broken up with him if you thought he was arrogant. You didn't. You stayed with him. Now you're claiming, look at how terrible and arrogant he is. Wow, you're right. Why'd you stay with him? Because he was a big famous movie star. That's why. So again, the incident that he was convicted of, I don't know how any rational jury can see the collection of evidence and say, yeah, they're two people who shouldn't be together, and let's just make them stay away from each other. I mean, that's how you do it. But no, now there's a criminal conviction, which means any money he does have, which, by the way, he will have no money anymore, because he's been dropped by Endeavor, which is one of the largest personal management agencies in Hollywood. Endeavor only does the A-list. He's been dropped by Disney and Marvel. His career is over. This is a Yale-educated, London stage-trained actor. Yeah, this dude's got a history. This dude is a real actor. And now he's just, I have been following this case. We've been talking about it. Not a lot, because it's not really a subject that's fun to talk about. But man, I mean, the imagery of a white woman chasing a black man through the streets of New York, that's what he said. He said, I can't. He goes, I can't. This is a white woman that I'm in it's still 2023, and I get that things have changed, but nobody is ever going to take my word over hers. Ever. And that's why I ran. And, I think that video is damning of him running. It shows what he wanted. And what he wanted was to be away from this situation so that it didn't get to a bad place. Maybe I guess the jury decided that it had already gotten to a bad place. And I guess that very same jury just completely ignored the testimony of the one eyewitness who saw it that wasn't either the victim or the accused. That Uber driver, apparently his testimony didn't mean anything. He said she was starting it. She was fighting him. Dateline New York, Jonathan Major was convicted Monday of assaulting his former girlfriend after a trial that he hoped would vindicate him and restore his status as an emerging Hollywood A-lister. It did just the opposite. Marvel Studios and the Walt Disney Company dropped him hours after the verdict. A Manhattan jury found that Majors, 34, was guilty of one misdemeanor assault charge and one harassment violation stemming from his March confrontation with then-girlfriend Grace Jabari. She said he attacked her in a car and left her in excruciating pain. He attacked her in the car and left her in excruciating pain. I don't know how she defines excruciating, but if I was in excruciating pain, I probably wouldn't hook up with 5 strangers and then go bar hopping for 5 hours on my boyfriend's credit card. Do you see? Can you just be a reasonable mind and go, well, that doesn't, so she was in excruciating pain? And then how did she treat that excruciating pain? Oh, she went out bar hopping. She spent all night drinking and partying. Okay, I guess so. A Manhattan jury, I guess both things can be true. I suppose, oh, I'm in so much pain. I need to dull it with some alcohol and disco dancing. I don't know. I don't know. Just seems very sketch. The Manhattan jury found Majors, 34, guilty of 1 misdemeanor assault charge and 1 harassment violation. Let's see here. Majors, who was acquitted of a different assault charge and of aggravated harassment. Do you say harassment or harassment? Do you say Caribbean or Caribbean? Majors, who was acquitted of a different assault charge and of aggravated harassment, looked slightly downward and showed no immediate reaction as the verdict was read. He declined to comment as he left the courthouse. His lawyer, Priya Chaudhry, said in a statement that he still has faith in the process and looks forward to fully clearing his name. While he was convicted of an assault charge that invokes recklessly causing injury, his lawyer said his team was grateful for his acquittal on the other more serious assault count. Mr. Majors is grateful to God, his family, his friends, and his fans for their love and support during these harrowing 8 months. Marvel and Disney immediately dropped the Creed 3 star from all upcoming projects following the conviction, said a person close to the studio who spoke on condition of anonymity because he wasn't authorized to speak publicly on the matter. Before his arrest, Majors had been on track to become a central figure throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe, playing the antagonist role of Kang. Majors had already appeared in Ant-Man and the Wasp and the first 2 seasons of Loki. He was to star in Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, dated for release in 2026. Okay, there you go. So he was going to be Thanos, right? He was going to, the bad guy. He was the next Avengers movie. It was going to be the Avengers versus Jonathan Major. Majors, whose credits include blah, blah, blah. Okay, we need to go through that. There you go. Hey, I'm not going to shed any tears here, but it's troubling. It's troubling. It's a troubling verdict. I don't know what men are supposed to do. A good man, and I'm not saying he's a good man, but if you are a good man and you find yourself in a situation where this stuff is getting squirrely, we were always told, keep your hands at your side, never raise your hand, make sure that there's no marks on her. All that stuff, all these things we're supposed to do. Get the hell out of there. That's the most important one. If you're a woman and you are in a fight and it's rising, and maybe, look, I like fiery women. So I've always been in relationships with women where, thankfully, okay, maybe. All right. Most of the time, you can gauge it, but you got to get out of there. And here's a guy, he got out of there. He ran away, locked his door. She then went back to him. She woke up, passed out on his front door. I just don't know what. Yeah, what are you going to do? All right, moving on. That's a tough one. Poor Jonathan Major. Yeah, I do. I said it. Poor Jonathan Major. Feel bad. I do. I feel bad for him. I mean, based on what I know, and I followed this case fairly quickly. It's pretty shocking. I mean, I don't know. And I really do feel that it's so, wow, there's so many moving parts here, right? Because you got we need to support women. And I'm like, yeah, well, what about the white lady claiming that the black man raped? Isn't this kind of historically a dilemma that we've had to deal with in this country before? Let's focus on that aspect of it. Let's table the whole Me Too thing, and let's look at the way people view this relationship of a big, strong, powerful black man and a pretty young blonde girl. Let's talk about that, because that's even more troubling than just going, I believe women. No, there's a lot of shit going on here that is ugly. And I do. I feel a little bad for John. I feel bad for everybody involved. There you go. Let's cover all the bases. Here's an interesting story. You know that big brothel bust that happened in Washington, D.C. and Boston a couple of months ago? I think this was back in October when this went down. Hey, went down. Get it? No pun intended. Please. Why, thank you. Yeah, so they busted some big brothel that was based in Washington, D.C. and has a black book with a whole bunch of names in it. Ooh, we're going to find out who likes to have sex. What is the point of this? What is the point of this nonsense, you idiots? Now, this is not to say that people, I want to know the Epstein diaries. I want to know the names in the Epstein. That's different. That's different because that's a major crime against children. We do need to know if anybody was involved in that who's got a high profile name. We need to know that. this. We don't need to know. We don't need to know what congressional aide was frequenting a prostitute in Georgetown. Come on. Why are we doing this? For political bullshit reasons. Because we want to go. How many Democrats? How many Democrats? Really? Okay. And he's a Democrat. Did you hear about the Democrat whose name is on? What about Republicans? Oh my God. Can you believe it's like 6 out of 10 are Republicans? Oh my God. That's what this freaking story is all about. Prostitution. People go to prostitutes. You know what? Very successful, very driven men often go to prostitutes. You know why? Because that's still a thing. That's still a thing, a sexual urge, the whatever it is, you got it. But when you work 18 hours a day and you're always on the road, you're ignoring your wife, if you even have one. I mean, successful, driven men love the arrangement of call girls. Why? Because they leave. Because they show up and they leave, and then they can get back on their, we got to make this quick because I've got a call with Tokyo in 20 minutes, right? I mean, that's what they're looking for. And this is something that has always happened. And you know what? I interviewed once a high-priced call girl, and she said flat out, she goes, this is probably the safest form of dating that there is, because I have high-end exclusive clients and they don't want to make any waves. They don't want anybody knowing about this. She says it's different than even just going to a bar and meeting a guy and going home with them. You don't know who this person is. And I'm like, you're right. No, I'm not talking about streetwalkers, right? There's levels to prostitution, but this prostitution at the highest level, my God, you want to talk about a victimless crime? Unless, you want to start going, well, what about the wife at home? Oh, okay. That ship has sailed. There's obviously marital problems. We can't include that. Why is this woman who is a high-end call girl, why does she need to be concerned about some John's home life? It's not her problem. It's not our problem. Elite clients of busted high-end brothel network could be unmasked. Ooh, we're going to get the names so that we can think naughty thoughts about people? Ooh, oh, shut up, you gossipy little queen. Ugh. Prosecutors said the Massachusetts and Virginia brothel networks, Little Black Book, read like a who's who of the professional classes. Ooh. 28 alleged customers of a high-end brothel network in Massachusetts and Washington, D.C. that required prospective clients to provide an email, work details, and a reference before booking an appointment before booking an appointment face being unmasked after fucking editors. They don't have any editors anymore. Run on sentences. People forget periods. Idiocracy. We have lowered our standards incrementally over the past 20 years. Let me try and read this stupid sentence that's missing a period. Anyway, although currently incognito, the Johns could be named. Acting U.S. Attorney Joshua Levy said, if a court hearing sniffs out probable cause, in which case, although currently incognito, the Johns could be named, acting U.S. Attorney Joshua Levy said, if a court hearing sniffs out probable cause, in which case I'm done. You know what? I just can't. I went to journalism school. That's some of the most shoddy journalism I've ever seen. There isn't an editor on the planet that would allow that story to go to print. Yet here I am reading the Daily Beast. Oh my God. Anyway, they may or may not release the list of names of people who are on the brothels, call sheet or whatever you want to call it. I don't care. It doesn't matter. This is, first of all, you know what the names are going to be? It's going to be John David Swanson III. He is the vice chairman of Monkey Bank. It's going to be people we don't know. It's going to be people that they're going to blow up somebody's personal universe, like some dude who's very successful and he's probably well known in a certain segment of the population, but nobody knows who he is. They're going to destroy his name in that personal universe just because he went and paid for a BJ while staying at the Washington Four Seasons. Brothel bust. Honor guard. Oh, this is crazy. So Sandra Day O'Connor's funeral is going on. What is she lying in state? Is that something we do for Supreme Court justices? I mean, cool. I don't have a problem with it. I don't know. When was the last time a Supreme Court, Bader Ginsburg, did we do a thing for her? I don't know. Anyway, they have an honor guard set up. Now, you know the story about the honor guard, right? the honor guard has to like stand there. The honor guard has to be. The Brits are really good at this. You know, they got their guards there at Buckingham Palace and all that stuff. All right, so here we got a United States. She a Marine. This poor girl. All right, let's see here. Check this girl out. All right, see her right there. They have to stand. They cannot move. They have to stand locked. You know, they have to. Ugh. Hey, look, yeah, it's executive producer Keith Babar. Keith Babar, today's executive producer, has joined the show. Thank you for pointing that out, Adam. Hey, Keith Babar, today's executive producer, also known as KB Artist in the chat room. I told the story about Dean Yans going, I know who you are, Keith Babar. That's why I got your name as Keith Babar, the executive producer of today's show. There he is. Thanks for showing up in the chat room. Appreciate the support. I really do. Today's show executive produced by Keith Babar. I'm sorry, it's just a good memory. It's just one of them, you know, it's funny, these things that become permanent memories. They're just random and there's no rhyme or reason as to why, but Dean Yan's going, I know who you are, Keith Babar. And then all of us just laughing and driving away. That was great. That was just wonderful. All right, let's move on. Honor guard. I want to show you this. Look at this lady, this brave little champion. What is she? It says honor guard. So honor guard is a thing? Like that's a job? Like your job is when people die, you have to stand still for 20 hours? So anyway, here you go. Look at this. This is why they stand so close to each other. What happens here? All right, she's about to pass out on her. There she goes. Oh no. Yeah, she's got a gun and everything. Oh, okay. She's out. There she is. Oh, and she's out. Oh, poor girl. I mean, she's fine. That happens when you have to stand in one place for that long. Swap her out in the box. Just they picked her up and laid her on the casket. Get her some water. Here we go again. Oh, she's out. Oh, man. All right. You know what? Thank you for your service. We appreciate you. That's very cool. Why does that happen? Well, I mean, I know there's a reason. I've heard why it happens. Like, you're not supposed to lock your knee. One thing is, like, you don't lock your knees. You keep them. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Anybody ever been in the military? Because people in the military always say, oh, yeah, when you have to stand in line, people pass out all the time. Like, why is that? How long are they making you stand there? How long was she standing there? I don't know. Moving on. She's a hero. Not all of them wear capes. Some of them wear pretty little gold braided lapels. Hemp. Let's talk about hemp. This is a big story. I love this story. This is incredible. This is an incredible story. Hemp is trending. Now, how long have I been talking about this? I've been talking about this for a year. We've been confused about what's going on with hemp in this country for a year. Why are we confused by it? Because, and almost nobody knows this, marijuana, getting high, getting stoned, going to a store and buying something that's going to rock your ass is completely legal in this country, and they told nobody about it. They just slipped it through. Yes. Why? Because the thing that gets you high when you smoke pot is THC. THC is in illegal pot, right? But you know what? THC is also in hemp. It's at a lesser degree in hemp. So they passed a law that said hemp is now legal. Marijuana is not legal, but hemp is now legal. Trump did this. Trump signed it. Right? It was the whatever act, hemp legalization act, whatever. So he created a market for hemp. Now, what is hemp? A bunch of people buying ropes for sailboats? No, this is about getting high. That's all this was about. Because there's also a loophole in the federal law, the 2018 hemp law. There's a loophole that says hemp extracted products, all right, are also completely legal. So when you have hemp, right? Now, the hemp that we're talking about is any kind of plant in the hemp family that has less than, and I think it's like 3% THC, right? So you're thinking, oh, wow, this hemp bud only has 3% THC. Wow, this is bad weed. Like, you can't get high off that. No, but remember the loophole. The loophole was hemp extract. So they can take this piece of hemp, which is totally legal, and they can then extract that 3% THC, which is totally legal. And then they can take another hemp plant and they can extract that THC. And now they've got two things of 3 THC. And then they take another one. So you understand when you buy these products, you're getting in many cases stuff that's more potent than weed that you buy. This idea, here's what I push back on everybody for. Everybody's like, it's just, it's like ditch weed. It's like bad weed. Best weed I've ever had was purchased at the smoke shop down the street about 2 months ago. Ditch weed. You guys are nuts. You guys have no respect for scientists, do you? I mean, they have created something that has secretly turned weed smoking completely legal in all 50 states. This was a federal bill. This is why you can walk into a smoke shop or a vape shop and you can see things that say, CBD, get you high, chills you out. You see the sativas and the indicas. Now, because you don't remember there being a major announcement, weed is legal, you walk in and think this must be a game. You think this must not be good weed. This must be something lesser. And you know what? I'm an old pothead. I'm going to keep buying from my guy. You'd be wrong. You'd be absolutely wrong. It is cheaper. It is better quality. It is tested in a lab. There is absolutely, and the way to do it now is through vape anyway. The vape pens. And this is what the story is about. Okay, so I've given you the backstory. So now you understand it's legal in all 50 states to get high when you buy these. Oh, and you can also buy hemp buds. You can buy buds, and they're just as good as like regular marijuana buds. I don't know what's going on with those, though. I don't know if they take a hemp bud and then inject it with all of this other THC from other hemp buds to make one big bud, because now you're using. See, it's a loophole. It's like a legal loophole that was specifically written that way so that people could get rich in the legal weed game. All right, so here's what's happening. So they're everywhere. So every strip mall in America has a vape shop, and they've got signs that say legal THC. And again, you see that and think, oh, it must not be as good. No, it says good. Shut up. My God, the other night, Saturday night, I took a bunch of edibles, a bunch of completely legal, purchased from the shop on the corner. I took a bunch of edibles, man, and it crushed me. I was crushed for like 6 hours. Just sitting there watching The Crown. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how to, anyway, I don't know what else to say about it. If you're still walking around going, weed ain't legal, you're a fool. You're not paying attention. It's completely legal. And people don't really know this. You know who knows it? And that's why this story is going on. You know who knows it? Teenagers. Teenagers know it. Teenagers are absolutely certain that they can just get an older brother to go to the store and, pick them up a vape pen with some really high concentrate THC, and then they're going to be puffing and puffing. So that's the problem here. That's what they're talking about. Jessica Harris, 15-year-old daughter, was walking to her school bus in London, Kentucky last month when a classmate offered her a piece of red candy. Ooh, if it was anything like the piece of red candy that I ate on Saturday night, now I ate 3. I mean, I got knocked on my ass. I ate 3, if I'm being honest. But, still. Jessica Harris's 15-year-old daughter was offered a piece of red candy. The square-shaped sweet seemed harmless at the time to Harris's daughter, but it turned out it contained a form of tetrahydrocannabinol. That's us fancy people. We pronounce that tetrahydrocannabinol. THC, the intoxicating ingredient in cannabis plants, and it's sent her to the hospital. Oh, you rookie. I get it. You didn't know what it was. You were feeling weird. You got to go to the hospital. But if somebody had just said, she's just high, then there's no trip to the hospital. It's just go lay on the couch. Can I make you a big bowl of cereal or something? You just watch some cartoons and lay on the couch. You'll be fine. As a matter of fact, you'll be better than fine. You're going to be great. You're going to really enjoy this. We know it's not anything we need to panic about. You're fine. It says the square-shaped sweet seemed harmless. It contained THC, an explosion of products containing THC and similar chemicals, some of them in kid-enticing forms, such as candy or gummy bears, is sending children to emergency rooms across the country. Again, they don't need to go to the emergency room. These are just parents freaking out. And has federal and state regulators grappling with how to contain it. Many of these products face little to no restrictions because their creators obtain their intoxicating compounds not from marijuana, but from hemp, which Congress legalized in 2018. Marijuana dispensaries have legally sold cookies and other edibles to recreational users for nearly a decade. But new products proliferated after the 2018 Farm Bill legalized hemp. By the way, the 2018 Farm Bill, which legalized hemp at the national level, it's vulnerable in states that will now enact a rule that will be in opposition to that, and there's going to be problems. We don't have that issue here in Texas because in 2019, Greg Abbott codified the 2018 bill that Trump put out there. Greg Abbott in the state of Texas created in 2019 the Farm Bill, which also makes hemp legal. So hemp and weed hemp and all of that stuff in the state of Texas is legal 2 times over at the federal level and codified at the state level. So an explosion of such products containing it, many of these products face little to no restrictions. Their creators obtain their intoxicating compounds not from marijuana, but from hemp, which Congress legalized in 2018. Marijuana dispensaries have legally sold cookies and other edibles for recreational users, but the problem is now that the law we'll get to this. But new products proliferated after the 2018 Farm Bill legalized hemp, also known as cannabis. The law defined hemp as cannabis plants that have less than 0.3% Delta-9 THC, the most common form of THC in the plant. So, but there are other forms of THC that are, there's Delta, THC 8, THC 10, 11, whatever, Delta-9 THC, though. That's the stuff that you got high, at the Bon Jovi concert in 1988. That's what you were smoking. And that's the same stuff that comes out of, so stop it with it's not as good. Okay. All right. We can compare notes, but I ain't no rookie in this area. So be ready to have a conversation. Marijuana dispensaries have legally sold these cookies. The law defined hemp as cannabis plants having less than 0.3% Delta-9, the most common form of the THC in the plants. So that's that definition ended up being a loophole as entrepreneurs were able to extract from hemp an alphabet soup of federally legal yet highly intoxicating cannabis-derived chemicals. Thankfully, they're saying it right there. That's the loophole. I mean, in the early days of the Radio Misfits, me and James and E, we were like, how can this loophole be allowed to exist? It completely legalizes weed. There are people still in jail for weed that is now legal. Anyway, so the problem with this is, and this is why this story is going around. All right, I gave you the background. I gave you all that kind of stuff. So we're up to speed. The problem is kids. And I don't know, is it a problem? I don't see it as a problem. I really don't. This is now something that is as available to children, high schoolers, whatever. It's as available as beer. Got a cool older brother? You go get you a 6-pack, and then you stop at the vape shop. It'll get you one of these, right? I mean, beer being restricted to 21-year-olds hasn't really stopped high school kids from having beer parties. So now we got this. So now this is here too, which I say, why do I think this is a good thing? Because I absolutely believe that I would rather have teenagers high than drunk. 100%. I would love it if the backyard keg party fell by the wayside, because beer makes idiots aggressive and it makes them do dumb things and it's violent. That's what alcohol does. Weed doesn't. Weed's how you learn to play guitar. That's what weed is. Weed's how you master Grand Theft Auto. That's what weed is. Beer, you get 10 beers in you and you're looking to throw a punch at that kid from the other school. Who's he looking at, right? That's beer. So if you're telling me that kids today are going to have a choice about being the drunken, aggressive meathead or cool ass stoner guy sitting on the couch talking to the cute girl. I want that one. I want the cool ass, So, but it is a problem, and another big problem is with this is that it's undetectable. You can't detect this. The good thing that parents always used to have on their side was that marijuana reeked. You could totally smell marijuana anywhere. It's like a joke. The dude who's standing in public thinking nobody knows he's got a giant bag of weed in his car. He reeks. He reeks like weed. Not this stuff. This stuff doesn't. This stuff not only doesn't reek in its non-smokable form, but it doesn't reek when you're smoking it. It's a vape. It dissipates immediately. There is no carbon. You're not burning smoke. There's not little pieces of carbon that are clinging to things causing a smell. No, these are vapors. These vapors don't smell. You could take a hit off a vape pen while studying, and your mom can bounce right in the room, and she would never know. Like 3 seconds, you just blow it out. You can't even see it coming out because it's vapor. It's not even. I'm telling you, that's the thing. That's the thing. Parents are going to be driven nuts by this, but I say embrace it. I say, look, it's better than having your kid be a drunk. Anyway, all right, there you go. So Jessica Harris, she was 15. Somebody at the bus stop gave her a mind-blowing edible, and she had the best day of school ever. Sadly, she had a mom who freaked out, and she ended up in the hospital. But just an emergency room visit. That's fine. All right. What else do we have here? We're running out of time. All right. I wanted to mention this. I love this. Oh my God. All right. So former NFL. It was a former. Is he still playing? Seems like he's been around forever. I mean, I remember when he was with the Bears. I remember when he was with the Bears and he sucked. And then he went to San Francisco and he was good. And we were all like, how come he sucked with us and now he's good with them? Rashard Mendenhall is his name. Rashard Mendenhall was a running back in the NFL. Is he still? I don't know. I don't know if he's still playing. Whatever. He got sideways with somebody on Twitter the other day. And he said Rashard Mendenhall, NFL Rashard Mendenhall, said that there should be a white football players versus black football players bowl game to see, Rashard was of the opinion that the black team would absolutely destroy the white team. And I'm with him 100%. It's not even close. Anyway, this is a very provocative subject that I have seen handled so far pretty good. Now, granted, I haven't really looked at anything in the last 6 or so hours, but when I say pretty good, what I mean is potentially this could be a real racist conversation. And most of the people who are playing along with this are sort of avoiding that pretty well, which I appreciate. Because it is a fun conversation. I mean, if we could just get past all the nonsense, let's talk about it. Look, this is fun. It shouldn't be hurtful. Like people shouldn't be, I mean, unless the white dudes are just like, they can't process that they're going to get smoked 72-3 by Team Black. Sorry. So there's a guy, I want to play this. There is a guy on Twitter. He's very funny. He's established the rules and he's trying to build the white team. And he's very excited about the white team. But the way he's handling it, I think it's pretty funny. So let's watch this guy. This is not the original. This is, oh no. Okay, hold on. Canceled it yet? This is not the original. But this is a guy responding to Rashard Mendenhall's original post. He did the work. Oh, crap. Oh, no. Okay. Hold on a second, guys. We'll get this. I unfortunately seem to have closed out the window that I needed. Bear with me. I'm finding it. It's there somewhere. So I want to go through this guy's list. If I can find it. Where is it? Is it that far down? Yeah, it is. Okay, I passed it up because I'm a freaking idiot. So basically what the premise is that you have to fill every single position, on the football field with a white guy, and he's got to go against a black guy. So you can have an all-star team, right? You can, oh, here it is, this guy. All right, this guy's nuts. And I like he sets out the rules. I don't necessarily agree with the rules, but one of his main rules in this, if you're allowed to say the N-word, then you cannot be on the white team. That's like his big rule. So when he's looking at people of mixed race, Puerto Rican, Islanders, that kind of thing, he's like, can they say the N-word? I don't know. Maybe. I think he can say the N-word. So it's actually pretty fun. This guy's doing it in a pretty fun way. However, I would say this. Sorry, Islanders and people of mixed, mixed race and Islanders and even Latinos are not invited to this game. This game has to be white dudes versus black guys, right? So sorry, Patrick Mahomes, this guy seems to say that he comes at it from this attitude. Which I get. If you are mixed, you can't be white. Because that's like the old racist sort of view. They got one drop of black blood in them, that whole thing. So he's kind of going with that, and I kind of get that. But see, that makes it a racist. Now, I don't want this to be a racist thing. I just want this to be a fun little compare and contrast. We might as well be doing, who's better at Jenga, Canadians or Mexicans, right? I mean, this is just a silly little thing. Nobody needs to get hurt by this. Except for a bunch of very thin-skinned white dudes they're the ones that are, what do you mean 72-3? I go, how are you going to cover Tyreek Hill? Who are you going to have a cornerback? Who's going to be the white cornerbacks that are going to cover Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb? Who tell me who that's going to be. You going to drop a 3 technique? What are you going to have to drop 8? I mean, it's going to be insane. There hasn't been a starting cornerback. There hasn't been a starting quarterback in the NFL in 21 years, a white one. There hasn't been a starting white cornerback. There are no corners. You're going to get picked apart. Oh, what are you going to do? You're going to do like, we'll just bring Bosa. Okay, so you're going to bring like all of these like real scary rush, which by the way, wait till you see the black team's defense. All right, so you bring your big scary rush. Against who? Who do you think you're going up against? Joe Flacco? Carson Palmer? Who do you think you're going? You're going up against Lamar Jackson. He wants you to make him run around. And what's going to happen when you realize you got no corners and Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson are running around just trying to create, and their quarterback, Lamar Jackson, is running around trying to create. You guys are dead. They're going to average 25 yards every pass because you got no corners. But bring that pressure. Do bring that pressure. And see, that's the other problem. You're not going to be able to bring the house because you're going to have to drop people back. Anyway, let's move on to this. I don't want to get into a whole football kind of thing, but this is kind of funny. So let's listen to this. This is some dude taking this way too seriously, and he's trying to create the white guy team. And it's not a bad team, and he's excited about it. So good on him. All right, here we go.
Here chiming in about the all-white versus all-black bowl proposed by Rashard Mendenhall, I believe very seriously, but now the internet's taking it by storm and having fun with it, which is what we will do now as well. The parameters of this all-white, all-black bowl. 2 weeks to prepare. I think that plays in our favor, but 2 weeks to prepare. And now also what happens with the halvesies out there. I think if you say the word.
Okay, that's the other thing I like about this guy. He is unabashedly on Team White because he's got white skin. He doesn't have a choice. He's got to be. We're knocking this down between white and black. It doesn't mean that he's like a white pride guy. He's just got to be on this team. So he's breaking this down. He's like, okay, I think 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks to prepare. I think that benefits us. Okay. All right, it benefits you.
You're on the other side. But if, you're cleaned up and he's out there to prepare, I think that plays in our favor.
All right, so he's talking about the habsies, as he calls them, people of mixed race.
But 2 weeks to prepare. And now also what happens with the halvesies out there. I think if you say the word, then you're on the other side. But if, you're cleaned up and you don't say the word and you don't like to say the word, then you should be able to play with us, but you're probably just going to have to go to the other side as well. So the halves go on the other side. Now, on all
right, so halves, no discussion. If you're half black, you're on team black. That's basically what he said.
offense, I love the outfit we got. I love the roster we got in-house that Rashard clearly did not think about.
No.
Quarterback, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. I think with 2 weeks to prepare, you allow practice tape to kind of dictate.
Great. Your quarterback, you're going to have a good quarterback. You're going to have Josh Allen or Joe Burrow. I go with that. That's fine. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. The other side, the other team, I'm thinking it'll probably be Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. Fine with that. Let's roll. Let's roll. Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts taking on Josh and Burrow.
Hey, who we going with? You got to win your job. You got to earn your stripes in this team. Running back, Christian McCaffrey, none other. The great.
None other, because that's basically it. You got one guy to choose from, Christian McCaffrey. And oh, by the way, you better think about making Christian McCaffrey play both ways, because you're going to need some corner help.
White Hope himself. He's like the MVP of the NFL. Blocking for him at fullback, you got your choice out of Kyle Juszczyk or Patrick Ricard. You
All right, so he's really stretching.
want a thicker guy in there for short yardage, then you got Kyle in there if you want to change it up and get a little bit dynamic on offense. Now, when you look at tight end, we got all the tight ends, boys. We got Travis Kelce, George Kittle, TJ Hawkinson. Pick your poison on which person.
Yes, they have all the big, giant, slow white guys. That's yes, okay. You have. We'll take David Njoku, maybe. I'm trying to think of who team we. I don't know why I'm on Team Black. Because I want to be on the winning team, because I just think Team Black's going to win. Doesn't matter. We're not going to need tight ends. You know what our wide receivers are going to look like? We're going to chuck and duck. We're going to bomb it down. They're going to outrun your corners. Your white cornerbacks are going to get smoked, and it's just going to be like playing center field out there for Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill and CD and who else? Devonta. There's just so many.
Chanel you want, but we got the boys in the house. I mean, Sam Laporta, Jake Ferguson. We got all the tight ends.
Good.
When it comes to offensive line, pretty balanced. However, I love the offensive line. You got to build through a center, a brainiac up top. We got Jason Kelsey.
Cool.
Jason Kelsey or Ryan Kelly. Then on each side of him, you got Chris Lindstrom or Zach Martin. And then on the other side, you got Quentin Nelson. Then at left tackle, I like Colt Miller. Right tackle, you like Lane Johnson.
Good
now let's
line.
go to receiver. Cooper Kupp. That's a no-brainer.
Cooper Kupp is it. Cooper Kupp's all you got. Now let's talk about the black wide receiver pool that we get to pull from. You guys got Cooper Kupp. Good for you.
The number one receiver is Cooper Kupp, the former Triple Crown winner last year.
And again, I'm a white guy, but I'm a total traitor here because I want to be on the winning team. And one of these teams is going to get humiliated, and I don't think it's the black team.
And then you flip to the number 2 spot. I like Adam Thielen. Now number 3, where it gets
Adam Thielen, who was never great, but hasn't been really productive. And where's Adam Thielen now? Carolina? I mean, come on.
Conversation. I think we should get Puka Nacua. Yeah, is he an Islander? Yes, but also I don't think he really says the word, so I think he should be able to play with us. But again, I digress. We might have to use Travis Kelce for the third wide receiver spot. Now,
all right, so they're so thin at wide receiver that now they're using tight ends. So in that case, okay, so if Travis Kelce, so who's going to have to cover Travis Kelce? Probably Micah Parsons. Probably have to drop him back. We won't need him blitzing every down because trust me, we got other people for that. So, but Micah being so fast, Travis Kelce doesn't have one catch. Doesn't have one catch. They're going to try and turn Travis Kelce into a wide receiver.
Now, moving over to the defense, where all the question marks are, right? Like, how are we going to stop the explosive nightmare of the all-black offense? I got your answer right here. It's called 4 underneath and 4 deep. We got to drop 8 every time.
Just prevent. He's basically saying, here's how we stop their offense. Every single defensive play, we're going to treat it like it's a Hail Mary. We're going to drop everybody. So you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen when you drop everybody? Lamar Jackson's going to run for 500 yards in this game. You're going to drop everybody, and Lamar Jackson's just going to tuck it and go. There's There's just no way for the team white to win.
Because we have to play zone ball against these boys. We don't have the speed to keep up with them. We got to know that. We got to have awareness. That's why we got to have low MAs. We got to play team defense out there. Rush our best three. You look at our best three, our pass rushers, we got a little rotation. TJ Watt, Max Crosby, Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa.
Nice.
Send in the best three, go hunt, boy.
Nice. Aaron Donald, Micah Parsons, Khalil Mack. Oh God, I'm missing so many people. I'm even going to throw Montez Sweat in there. How about who? Please.
After we play,
It's like every name he mentions, you can come up with 3 deep of black guys who play the same position who are of equal value or in some cases better.
sound run defense on first, probably second down as well.
Wait,
Go hunt, boys.
what's he saying?
TJ Watt, Max Crosby, Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa. Send in the best three, go hunt, boys. After we play sound run defense on first, probably second down as well. You move into linebacker, heady, effort, intangibles. The Italian stallion himself, Olive Oil, Matt Malone.
This linebacking core is a joke. I mean, listen to this linebacking core and then realize that Team Black is going to be countering this linebacker, Matt Milano. Team Black is going to be countering Matt Milano with, Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, Micah Parsons, and Khalil Mack. Those will be the 4. We'll go with a 4-backer set. So, yeah, that'll be it. So you'll have Roquan Smith, Fred Warner, and then Khalil Mack and Micah Parsons. Good luck, but kid, do continue selling me on the Matt Milano-led defense.
After we play sound run defense on first, probably second down as well. You move into linebacker, heady, effort, intangibles. The Italian stallion himself, Olive Oil, Matt Milano. You got Logan Wilson, Josie Jewell, Alex Singleton. A lot of good cats to choose from.
No, not a lot of some decent starters in the NFL. No superstars. You didn't name one breakout linebacking superstar.
We're gonna have to play ball, boys. Put your cleats on, put your track cleats on, because we're gonna have to run, we're gonna have to hit, we're gonna have to direct. All right, you go into the back end. Christian McCaffrey, he's gonna have to come around, he's gonna have to play both ways.
You knew that was coming. You knew that was coming. Christian McCaffrey has to play both ways because there's no way that we need him at corner. What are they? Where do they want him? They want him at corner. They want him at safety. I think you got to put him at corner.
I got him playing one safety spot. The other safety spot manned up by Harrison Smith. But we are going to have to use Christian McCaffrey on both sides. He had a great tackle on the interception last week against the Seattle.
He is confident. And he's so confident in this team, and yet he's admitting that he's got to use one guy twice. Christian McCaffrey, how effective is Christian McCaffrey going to be as a runner if he's also chasing after Justin Jefferson for 3 quarters?
Seahawks. Now, again, just don't get beat deep. Play good run support, but don't get beat deep. Let the form.
That's it. Just don't get beat deep. Every defensive coordinator has had that conversation with his corners and safety.
Underneath help you. Let the 4 underneath help you. They're spot dropping their zone, react. We got to play zone against these boys. Now, you look at the cornerback position. The big question mark. Parts are obsolete on the all-white side with the cornerback position. Yep. We might just have to use the cat that got drafted out of Iowa that was a corner, and then I think Iowa's got another white corner that's just still in college.
He's going with white corners who are still in college for no other reason than they play the position, because there are no other white guys that play cornerback almost at any level. I mean, once you get outside of high school, you are not going to see many white cornerbacks.
College, but we might just have to call him up to the big leagues. We do not have cornerbacks.
No.
But there might be a guy sitting on the couch right now just waiting on his opportunity. There might be a guy.
Right, and that guy's going to represent Team White in the 72-3 defeat. A guy sitting on the couch. Come on, it's funny, but he's really kind of making the case for the other side here.
On practice squad, ready to get nasty out there. It'd be like a black kid going to Harvard. You might think he doesn't belong, and then boom, he's the smartest guy in the school. That might be the same with the white guys in the corners right now.
That might be the same thing. Might be. Hey, whites might be better playing corner. We just haven't given them a shot, like the black kids who can't go to Harvard. That's the point that he just made. Oh, this is so fun. This is so fun.
Team keys. Now that we got that all figured out
Keys
with
to
defense,
victory.
4 underneath, 4 deep, playing a lot of zone.
A lot of
Run the
zone.
ball, control the clock. We got to win time of possession here. And then we got to sneak a turnover or two. We got to allow MAs to play.
So since we know that the white team's offensive game plan is going to be to run the ball, to pound the rock, well, we'll keep that in mind when we're deciding who's going to play our 3, 1, and 2 techniques. Certainly going to have Aaron Donald in there, but we're going to have to now maybe look at some run stoppers. If that's what you're telling us, you're just going to, because trust me, we're not worried about, our defensive backs are going to be great. Trust me, we got that all covered. Our safeties and our corners and our linebackers. But okay, if you're telling us you're going to run the ball, then we're going to create the biggest interior line of defenders you've ever seen.
Factor here. We got to keep our MAs low. We got to wait for them to make a mistake, and we got to cap.
Aaron Donald, who do we put on the nose? Who's the dude from Vita Vea? We'll put Vita Vea on the nose. We'll put Aaron Donald at one tackle. And you know what? Jalen Carter. Why not? Let's bring the big giant rookie in there to play the other interior line position. Go ahead, Team White. Try and run on them.
Capitalize when we have the opportunity. Tips and overthrows. Tips and overthrows. Tips and overthrows. And I also I like our staff. I think we win at the staff element too, because the NFL, they just started hiring the all.
Okay, all right. So now he's talking about how he ran out of time. I wanted to hear the black team. I thought that would be fun. Probably make a black team off the top of my head, but I wouldn't want to forget anybody. And I'm a bit out of town stupid on a lot of teams, so I should probably do a little research on that. I did like, he's like, well, I think on coaching, we've got that all, and then it ran out. So Mike Tomlin will be the anybody afraid to ride into a big game with Mike Tomlin? Okay, sign me up. Mike Tomlin's my head coach for Team Black. Who's head coach for Team White? Belichick? Shanahan, maybe? Andy Reid, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's fun. That's really fun. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do skill positions. All right. So the black team, we talked about the quarterbacks. Who you got? My football guys. Who you thinking? I'm thinking quarterbacks are kind of a no-brainer. I would go with Lamar and Jalen. And again, like he said, let them fight it out. Maybe, guy gets one series, guy gets another series. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm happy rolling with both Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts as our quarterback. Running backs. Well, Derrick Henry. And then who else? I mean, man, oh man. Do we want Saquon? I'll tell you, James Cook looked really good the other day. Could you imagine a backfield of Henry and in that kid James Cook from the other day? That'd be interesting. Yeah, the backfield's insane. All right, so now wide receivers. Certainly Tyreek Hill, certainly Justin Jefferson, certainly AJ Brown. Diggs. Oh, wait a second. I'm not even looking at Seattle or San Francisco. We got some Debos and some DKs. Oh, forget about it, man. This game is over. This game is over. Who they got returning punts? Who they got? Who's going to return punts and kickoffs? This is fun. All right, but now, if we white people are feeling a little bit upset, let's do baseball. Let's do baseball, and then we'll have the same kind of situation because there are no black Americans. There are no African American, black Americans in baseball. Tim Anderson. I think Tim Anderson and one other guy. I'm not kidding. When I was growing up, when we were growing up, I mean, there was pretty diverse in baseball, but black Americans don't play baseball anymore. They don't grow up learning and playing and all that kind of stuff. There was a time last year, I think it was, or maybe it was the year before, where Tim Anderson of my White Sox was the only starting black player in maybe it was the American League or maybe it was both leagues. I don't know. There's a lot of like Afro-Cuban and Caribbean players who are dark skinned, and you'd go, oh, that's a black guy, but then they talk and you're like, oh no, he's Latin. What else could we do? That's pretty much it. Baseball. That's pretty much it. It's just white versus black in baseball. That's funny. That conversation is funny. All right, let's end on this. I want to show you something. It is Christmas time. And look at us. We're going late. I thought we were going to go early, and I gave you a full show. Let's watch one more video here. This is so amazing. I just love this. If I can leave you with anything, I want you to take this into the next few hours of your day. Here, check this out. Boop, boop, boop. Sorry. So these are a bunch of kids. This is how this, I don't know where this store is, but watch this Santa experience. Okay. This is a mall Santa experience for these little kids. And I'm just going to let it play. I'm not going to interrupt it. Just watch these kids, man. I mean, this is what Christmas is. Yeah, I get it. The Jesus stuff and all that. That's important. But this is Christmas. This is these little kids. They're so excited and they're having their minds blown. Congratulations to this mall or whatever it is, whoever did this. Watch this video. Best mall Santa experience ever.
And we got it. Whoa, where are we? Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Oh,
They're getting in an elevator.
the green button. Oh my goodness.
I don't think it's a real elevator though. I think the kids think it's a real elevator. All right. Now they're going up.
Very cool. Oh my goodness. Look where we are, you guys. Whoa. Yes, you gotta come over here and get that face.
So very
So.
like Willy Wonka inspired, right? Like where they're going up and up and up and up. Okay, so that's what these kids are getting. They're getting this Willy Wonka experience. They got into an elevator at the mall, and now they went all the way up into the sky, and now they're over the clouds.
Oh my goodness, we're up in a plane.
I mean, this is elaborate.
Wow.
Right?
Mommy, whoa,
It's
this is
like they're at the North Pole. Pulling right up to Santa's door.
All right, who's ringing the doorbell? You gotta ring the doorbell. You did it.
Good job.
Hello,
welcome in.
Oh my goodness.
Come on.
Really safe. You guys want to sit next to him?
Like that one up there?
All right, couple of things. One, that Santa's far too skinny. That is a skinny Santa. I'm not comfortable with that. Is this some lefty rebranding of Santa to be more heart healthy, or I don't know. Secondly, I'd kill for this chair. I want this chair, this giant green Santa chair. How do I get a giant green Santa chair? That looks like the greatest chair ever. Is it a couch or is it a chair for giants? I don't know. And his work chair. Look at that chair. Look at that Santa chair. That chair is awesome. That chair is basically just it's a love seat with a super high back, so it looks like a chair. Look at that. Oh boy, people, huh? How about that? Isn't that awesome? All right, I got nothing else. What else do we need? So remember, guys, no Radio Misfits shows. Okay, no. I'm sorry about that. There's the world happens, and so we'll have more information on that at some point. But just don't ask. We're going to suspend the Radio Misfits show for a little bit, and we'll catch back up with James. I don't want to do the shows without him, and so till further notice. Anyway, tomorrow join me and Civil and Lacey as we host mornings at 91.7 The Freak here in Dallas, Fort Worth. We're very excited about this. Gonna have a good time. Morning radio. You can check it out on the iHeart app. If you have my smart TV comes with the iHeart app. So you just go to the iHeart app and you put 97.1 The Freak or just The Freak. It's the only format in iHeart. So if you just search The Freak, it'll come up tomorrow morning, 6 to 10. And then for the rest of the week, we'll be doing mornings there, 6 to 10. And then next week as well, morning 6 to 10. So very excited. It's going to be fun. These noon shows will continue. I promise you that. Unless, I mean, something might come up where but I expect to be doing the morning show and then coming home and then doing the noon show for you as well. It won't be put together in the exact same way. It'll be a facsimile of the show, but we're going to keep doing the show. Why? Because this is how we pay the bills around here with this show. We can't miss shows. Even though not every show makes money, you got to be out there. You got to be shooting your shot. Thank you to anybody who donated today. I didn't see if there were any donations dropped in, but boy, oh boy, thank you, folks. If you can help out, now would be the time. What else do we want to do here? I want to play Peter's song. Peter put a new song together for us. Oh, here. I'm going to do it through here. I don't think it's a new song. I think it's the same song. So let's see. Hold on. Where is it? Peter in the chat room, Mr. Awesome. He does songs for us. I just got to find it. He did a song for us. Here it is. Let me see if that's it. Okay. Open. I know okay, let's see. Let's see what he request. What? Come on. Why is it saying request access? What? Hold on. Hold on, Peter. I'm going to do this one. Okay. Here we go. It's Peter from the chat room. He wrote a song for us. He says, well, we played it before, and it's wonderful, so enjoy it. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I love y'all. We'll talk tomorrow. Anything else? No, that's it. Bye, everybody. RadioMisfits.com.
I've got some birthdays. I've got some deaths. See what happened on this day, then condense the rest. I'm like that cosmic dust floating through the breeze. The high noon rant will set your mind at ease. Now I hang out with all my friends. We can chat a while. Adam has a lot to say, and Byron makes me smile. Sometimes we get out of hand, and everybody likes to tease. The high noon rant will set your mind at ease. Well, tomorrow is too far away. Erstwhile have to do. Sometimes CeeLo runs away, so Pugs has to pursue. Now, I can use my Android. It works just as well. I don't need no Apple phone. Those guys can go to hell. But some people go to heaven. It's really whatever we please. The high noon rant will set your mind at ease. Tomorrow is too far away, or it's what we'll have to do. Sometimes CeeLo runs away, so Pugs has to pursue. Now I can hang out with all my friends, Jeff, April, and Al. Leslie and Jennifer, yeah, they all make me smile. Sometimes we get out of hand, everybody likes to eat. The high noon rant will set your mind. The high noon rant will set your mind. Yeah, the high noon rant will set your mind at ease.